Good morning. This is Tuesday. We're going to start a new vlog here. I kind of fell off vlogging a bit there because we had a little bit going on and it wasn't stuff I wanted to vlog. Mainly a stomach bug and then some medical stuff as well, and it just wasn't fun vlog content, let's put it that way. But anyways, I decided Sunday I was feeling kind of yucky with my tummy stuff and I just need a little break and some self-care. So I had a lovely bath and did a hair mask, face mask, exfoliated, put on self-tanner, lotion, all the things to make myself feel good. And we also had to make a trip to Baton Rouge because I had to get an MRI and another ultrasound physical exam done for my girls at the breast clinic, and yeah, everything came out good. I got the phone call yesterday saying that my MRI was fully clean and healthy and fine, and the ultrasound was fine. Everything is good, which is such a relief because I was losing my damn mind, panicking over all that. I've talked about how I am about medical stuff, particularly when it comes to breast cancer. I am a mess. I have really British PTSD from that. My mom had breast cancer and passed away from it, and my aunt had it. It runs in our family. I'm at a pretty high genetic risk for it because of that, but I don't have the gene for the common gene anyway. I was negative for all the genes, but you know, that only means so much. There's still environmental factors that play in and just family history, and yeah. But anyway, everything is good. The MRI was awful. It was the worst. I go back in October for a mammogram, which will just become a regular mammogram, but it's a more advanced mammogram. Like it's not just the regular one. This is a one that gets a better picture, and it really is like 3D and crazy looking. Like I've seen the pictures from it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the MRI was the worst. I still have a lovely little bruise here because IVs were involved. I was not aware IVs were happening or what a MRI on your breast was like. That is completely different from a normal MRI. Well, not completely different, but very different. As the tech described it to me when he called me back, he's like, okay, you ever done this before? I was like, nope. I've had regular MRIs. I've had CAT scans and all of that when I was a child. I've had an MRI on my eyes and a CAT scan on my eyes. I've had, you know, x-rays and CAT scans on my body because of my joint deformities and all that stuff, seeing what's going on there. So I wasn't scared of the MRI. I didn't think anything of it. I thought, you know, I'm just gonna lay on that little bed. It's gonna be kind of loud. Sit there for a while, you know, like 30 minutes or whatever. Well, apparently when you get a breast MRI, it's totally different. You lay on your stomach and there is a cutout where your chest goes with two slots, essentially, like two boxes. And your boobs go into that box, kind of like a mammogram, but it's both at the same time. And you just kind of let them hang into this box. So you lay down on your stomach and your arms are over your head, like kind of like Superman position. And your face is in a ring cushion headrest like you find on a massage table, but it's a little bit elevated, so it's kind of an awkward position to be in. You have to lay like that for 35 to 45 minutes, not moving. And you also have an IV because they do the contrast dye to get better image. So we got the IV in, no problem. I have a great little vein in my elbow, or in the crook of my elbow, that is just right there, easy peasy to get to. Never had issues with that vein. Laid there I think we were about 20 minutes in, and it was time to do the contrast. And when they turned that thing on, I felt like a hot knife went through my arm, and I felt wet liquid all over my arm, and I couldn't move. I couldn't like look up because the scan was like running as this is happening, and I'm just kind of trapped, and there's just something wrong. And I'm like, the tech saw me tensing. The techs were fantastic, by the way. He immediately like stopped and was like, are you okay? Like, I didn't even say anything at this point. I just literally, my body tensed up a bit. And I was like, oh, that doesn't feel right. But I was thinking, well, maybe the dye burns or something. You know, you feel stuff when you get an IV. But then, you know, the wet feeling, I was like, oh, that's not right. Am I bleeding? So they come in and pulled me out, and they're like, uh-oh, your vein blew. And I was like, well, that explains that horrible pain. So about 30 minutes of calling in 3 other techs to find a vein in my body, in my arms, that they could put an IV in. They tried to run an IV in the other arm, didn't work. Couldn't find the vein. Tried my hands, no vein. They finally found one like in the side of my arm in the most odd location, the strangest place. But I have a big vein that runs right there that you can kind of see. So I had to have my arm in kind of an odd position because that's where the IV was when they put me back in without moving. So, because that was my only good vein, basically, at that point, that was the best we're going to get. And so it was like, just don't move. So my arm was kind of awkwardly laying, and there was another like 20 minutes of scans that needed to get done. All that to say, that was a rough, very painful day. Not so much the IVs, aside from the one blowing, that one hurt. But the other IVs, I didn't even feel. They actually switched to a smaller needle because they were like, we don't want to beat you up. So we're going to switch over to like a baby needle they would use on infants. That was really nice because I barely felt that one. And the one in my arm, however, the lead on it, they had to put an extra, like a longer lead because they couldn't use the machine to pump the contrast dye because that's what caused my vein to blow the first time. It just came at too much force. And so they're like, you know, we're going to do it by hand so we don't risk anything and that doesn't happen again. So they had like this extra long tube attached where the guy could be in the safety area to manually administer the stuff, you know, and be out of the way and do it really, really slow. And I didn't even feel it. Like, that went great. But when they pulled me out, the tube had kind of gotten tangled on the table when it kind of pulls you out, which I was holding the cord to the other IV to keep that from happening, but they didn't put it back in my hand the same way. And just, it was a little bit of a kerfuffle. You know, there was like 5 people in there trying to put an IV in me. So, and I'm just trapped there. I can't see what's going on. I finally just picked my head up at one point just because I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are we doing here? My neck and shoulders are still a little sore, and it's been about 5 days since. So yeah, it was not fun if you have neck and shoulder arthritis either. But yeah, when they pulled me out, it was caught on the bed or the little part you lay on or something, and it ripped it out. So I didn't even feel it. Like, it just felt like a little piece of tape getting pulled off me or something. Like, I didn't even register that's what happened. I just was kind of like it just felt like a little pinch, nothing. So I didn't even think anything of it, and then I felt more liquid on me. And they're like, uh-oh, you're bleeding. Your IV got ripped out, so yeah, don't move. So I had to lay there extra long while they cleaned up my arm and got that to quit bleeding. It looked like a little crime scene within the MRI machine. I'm just left with a really big, yucky, ugly bruise, and my elbow's still a bit sore where the vein blew. Like, that spot is still kind of tender. It doesn't ache like that night and the next day. It was very achy. Like, I actually take a leave achy, and I am not one to take pain medicine, like any kind of pain medicine. I mean, like aspirin, Tylenol, leave. I have a very high pain tolerance. I'll just deal with it because my stomach doesn't tolerate those other medications very well. They usually give me, they burn my stomach. I have very sensitive stomach lining, but it was like at that point where I just could not get comfortable. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't do anything. So I was like, you know what? We're going to take a couple ibuprofen. It knocked the pain out, and the swelling went down a lot from that. The only time it's hurt since that second day was when Pumpkin tried to cuddle into that arm and put her little elbow right into that spot. But otherwise, yeah, that was an adventure. It's not something I care to repeat. It was not a fun process. The results were good, so I'm so relieved because that was like the big test, I guess. Like, well, no, I mean, obviously the mammogram's kind of the big test, and it didn't show anything, and then the ultrasound didn't show anything. But she warned me. She's like, the MRIs are very zeroed in. Like, if there's something there, it'll find it. So she's like, there may be something, and we'll deal with it if that happens. She said, I'm not seeing anything on my end though. And they called me yesterday, and they're like, nope, you're good. Your MRI results were clear, and you just have really dense breast tissue. And I have like ropey tissue that feels kind of cystic, but it's not like actual cysts. But sometimes they get painful. They're just angry little boobs is the best way to describe them. But yeah, we're planning the mastectomy for next spring. So that's not something I'm really looking forward to, but it's kind of something that has to happen, and I'd rather do it now while I'm younger and could recover quicker from it and not have cancer or something and have to get it done and not be able to do the reconstruction or this or that because you have to go straight into chemo or whatever. It's because that's how it went with my mother. She had the mastectomy and then never got to do her reconstruction because she went straight into doing intense chemo and all kinds of stuff, and it was just a lot. So I'm like, let's do this now at a better time to avoid possible complications down the road and worrying about lymph nodes need to get taken and all that kind of stuff when I can just get all of it gone to begin with. I was joking with the doctor. I'm like, girl, you can take the lymph node, you can take everything. I don't want none of it. And she's like, no, we need to leave those because you actually need them. The specialist I go to is a lovely woman. She is so kind and just very sweet and very compassionate. Like, oh my gosh. She'll like sit there and like hug you, if you're having a bad day or something. She's very, very sweet. I've got a year to try to get myself in like the best health possible for surgery, which I figure the better shape I'm in physically going in is better, and just take good care of myself until then. And that I think that would just mean better recovery and less risk of, complications and stuff, right? If you're in better health. So that's what I'm going to take this year to do, is really focus on that and save up a little money, because insurance is covering like 80% of it, but still it's not a cheap surgery. There's a night over in the hospital. I mean, it's probably going to be close to 20 grand all said and done. And I think insurance is going to cover like 80%. So, I need to have money for all that, and obviously for like hotel stays and aftercare, food, and all that kind of stuff as well, because I'll have to go out of town for the surgery. I'm probably gonna have to it's either gonna be Shreveport or Lafayette. I'm gonna have consultations with both surgeons. They both specialize in reconstructions, mastectomies. I'm gonna check out both of them and see which one is the best. So I'm gonna check out both those clinics and the doctors. My friend has actually used the one in Shreveport, and she had a fantastic experience. Her boobs look amazing. They look so real. If she hadn't told me, I would have never known. So it's impressive work, and I've looked at the before and afters and a lot of their work online, and it looks so aesthetically beautiful. The thing is, this isn't all just about aesthetics, obviously. This is more of a health thing. I don't need them to look perfect. It would be lovely. It'd be great if I had some nice, new, pretty boobs, because you wouldn't be able to get me to put a shirt on if they look nice. The most important thing is just getting it done and getting all the tissue out of there that's not supposed to be there. That's one of the things that makes it look a little less natural, is because they do remove all the breast tissue you have and it's built from nothing. So they're not going to look like, your boobs that you're born with. They're not my favorite feature. Actually, my least favorite part of my body, not because of the way they look, but just because we have a complicated relationship, me and my boobs. But I wouldn't be mad if they looked prettier. But again, that's never been something I've defined myself by. They don't define my femininity or my womanhood or anything like that. They're just there. I would rather feel like I don't have ticking time bombs on my chest and have less perfect looking boobs there than, the way I am now. So it's a weird subject to talk about, and it's not one that is easy, I guess, to talk about and find the right words to express and describe the feelings that go with it. I'm very much of the mindset that it's your body and you do what makes you feel good and what makes you happy and what is medically necessary. Also, I'm very much in favor of that, and do what you need to do and do right by yourself. So that's my mindset going in. I'm not going to be just horribly depressed or something over losing them. This is not a overnight decision that I've made. This was a decision I made since I was 23, I think. Probably about 20. wanted to do this, and I've had 15 years to think about it. I've reached a clear consensus in my head at that time. I've had a lot of time to contemplate and decide that I'm making the right choice for myself. And yeah, I'm gonna be scared going in. Obviously, any big procedure is scary, but I'm have very supportive friends and family that are understanding, and they're not trying to change my mind or tell me, oh, you don't need to do that. That's so drastic. And it's, that's a personal decision. But I do count myself lucky to have people who are supportive of it and are willing to take care of me. Like, my husband's like, yeah. Like, me and him talked about doing this years and years ago. Like, well, probably one of our first couple months dating. This is one of those things you talk about. You talk about your family and all that stuff. And so one day I want to get this done. And he's okay. And he still feels that way. He's like, yeah, anything to make yourself healthier, obviously. And he's very supportive about that. So, like, I don't have any reservations as far as that goes. I'm not worried about what anybody's going to think about it or any of that stuff, because it doesn't matter. That doesn't bother me. I know my self-image will be shaken for a while because the healing process and all that just doesn't feel good physically. You don't look good during recovery from any surgery. Things just are not pretty. I've seen mastectomies, firsthand. I've been right there from my mom getting out of surgery all the way through. I was the nurse, basically. I cleaned the drainage tubes and all that kind of stuff. It's my first rodeo with any of that, so I know what it looks like, and I know the pain that goes with it, and I think it's worth it for me. But I would never recommend any of this stuff to anyone else. This is between you and your doctor, your care providers, and what's best for you. But that's my spiel on all that. It was just bouncing around my head. So today's plan is to film a video though, and put some makeup on, feel good, because I'm happy today, very happy, a little emotional. I cried a little bit yesterday, but happy crying, and my brain's not spinning like it was. So it's a good day. We're gonna do some makeup. We're gonna make some more coffee before we do that, and we're gonna hang out. I'm also want to talk a little bit more about routines. I touched on that in a previous vlog about sorting out my morning routine and trying to find different ways that makes sense in my life. So we're going to do a little update on that as well in this video, but let's go ahead and get on with our day. A couple of vlogs ago, I kind of tried to develop a morning routine, and one thing that I have, even though I've stuck to it fairly well, one thing I've realized is I basically need 3 morning routines because I need to be able to adapt to my husband's routine. And he works switching days and nights, 7 on, 7 off, and there's a week off in between there. So basically, I need a morning routine for when he's on days, a routine for when he's off, which is pretty much a little bit more of a free, loosey-goosey week. I don't have to be quite as on it, and I can be a little more spontaneous within that week because, we'll go grab lunch and do stuff, and we try to squeeze any errands and important things within that week that need to get done as well. Because his hours are not very conducive to errands. And then when he's on nights, he needs to be able to go to bed at 8 in the morning. I need to be able to do everything from the studio, from the rest of the house rather. I don't have access to the bedroom during that time. So there's a few things I'm going to tweak for this coming week, which he's going to be on nights until Wednesday. And then the other stuff I can start to swap back over to the daytime schedule. I can pretty much keep the daytime schedule and morning routine when he is roughly on the weeks he's off. Sometimes he needs to sleep in and stuff. So I need to be able to adapt the two routines and find a sweet spot in between for the weeks he's off. This week is a week that he is on nights. So what I'm gonna do is sort out a way to certain things done while he's at work at night and I can accomplish in the evening, and have other things that can be done that I would normally maybe do in the evening in the morning. Kind of just flip-flop a few things. So like last morning routine, I was doing the laundry in the morning, like folding a load of clothes, doing my morning shower, whatever, in the bedroom, that kind of stuff, and just spend a little more time in there doing things. And that's stuff that I can move towards the evening and like wash hair and all that in the evening, depending on what time I get up. Now, if I get up early enough, I can accomplish that same morning routine before he needs to go to bed, if that makes sense. So I need to be a little more flexible, all that to say. Here is the new week and what I want to accomplish this week. So far, I just have down that we need to go get groceries, because we do need to do that, and then I need to make some thumbnails. And I'll be cooking on Wednesday a taco bake. So that's one dinner taken care of for the week. So I do want to try to cook something within like Thursday and Friday, because I probably won't have a chance to get groceries until maybe Wednesday or Thursday, unless I go at the butt crack of dawn on tomorrow or Tuesday, which may happen. I'm not sure. Depends on what time I get up. If I'm being really good about my morning routine and waking up like at 4:30, 5 in the morning, I can knock out a lot of stuff, but that hasn't been happening lately. I've been getting up closer to like 8 or 9, which is not ideal. I like to get up at 7. 7 is the time that I've selected for myself, because that's what my phone told me would be proper, is to get 10 to 7, and it sets a bedtime at 10 o'clock for me and puts everything on Do Not Disturb and all that. So I've got the videos listed out that are gonna go up this week. We have a vlog, we've got a review, and then a little tutorial. I like to do vlogs Monday. Wednesday is usually some sort of a review or a video that's a little more chatty, talking about like favorite products, empties, things like that. And then Fridays are usually just like doing makeup. So that's kind of how I've sorted that out. So what I do need to get done Monday for sure, which I did not get done last week, is unpack. So that needs to go on the list. I want to tidy up the kitchen, and I do want to fold a load of clothes, because I do have some clean that just need folding. Film a video. So I'm going to write down the stuff that needs to get wrote down. Write down any appointments we have. So for like Wednesday, I also have a doctor's appointment. So that day is going to be pretty full, and I'm not going to have time to like film or do a whole lot on that particular day. Okay, so now I think I'm just gonna go lay down and read until I fall asleep, and we will be up bright and early tomorrow morning making us a cup of coffee. I may quickly blow dry my hair. I'm deciding. I'm gonna quickly blow dry my hair and then we'll go to bed. Okay, see y'all in the morning.